to label it as a knockout, but that's not a knockout. No, that's a stoppage because of a weak individual in my team that did something he was supposed to do, and that's throw in the towel. I ended the fight on my feet. It's a difference between a knockout and someone ending it on their feet, And I'm just looking forward to this time around, and I can't wait again.
Yeah, I mean, you've just obviously explained how you felt, but you could imagine people over here are saying, well, what's the point of watching that fight? Tyson beat him the last time fair and square. What's Deontay going to do? So what do you say to those people?
Hey, stay tuned. You watch then, and you're going to watch now. So you'll see exactly what I'm going to do come October the 9th.
Okay, I won't keep you. I know you wait to do your things. You just got out of the shower, so just a couple more. Yeah, so you said, however long the fight lasts, from what I gather from that you don't think it's going to go the distance, or it's not going to go the distance.
It's not going to go the distance at all. I can't see this fight going the distance. Look, at the end of the day, we wanted way more than him, and I know for facts he haven't trained as hard as I've trained. He don't want it as bad as I want it, and for that reason, I cannot see this fight going long distance. This is the heavyweight division, and when people come out to watch the heavyweight division, they come to see knockouts, and they know when they come to see Deontay Wilder, they're gonna get just that, and I'm gonna deliver. Again, I can't wait.
Starting off the week the wrong way. This is a recent interview he did with BT Sport Boxing. I don't know if it was yesterday or maybe early today. Probably yesterday. He's in Vegas. Here, let's go through the fight week schedule while we're here just to get this out of the way. Follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy. Doing some makeovers around here. I want to kind of vent, but you know what? I'm gonna keep it boxing. So I've been talking about the last few weeks is how after this weekend and on, we have no breaks in boxing. It's going to be busy every weekend. Some weekends cards on top of cards. So the way the boxing schedule is looking right now is every weekend there's going to be a fight of significance. And I say significance if a guy's like Mikey Garcia is fighting Sandor Martin. It may not be a big fight, but it's still Mikey Garcia fighting. So for me, it's shit, I'm not going to have no weekends off. So it's going to be a very, very busy week here. We're going to be talking Fury Wilder 3 all week, multiple videos, multiple streams. Fight night, I'm going to be covering, at least 7 post-fight videos, then the post-fight press conference. Well, anyway, let's talk about the schedule. Tomorrow is the Grand Arrivals. Oh, Lord, I don't even know if this is Pacific. I'm guessing 5 p.m. Pacific. The Grand Arrivals, you know what they are? Basically, it's trying to figure out how to describe it. It's pretty much just a glorified entrance. It's going to be a whole bunch of fans in the MGM Grand. They're going to have roped off security. The fighters are going to pull up in limos or whatever, walk up to baby hands Ray Flores, do a little interview, and then, get up out of there. So really, I don't really count them. The Grand Arrivals is a thing for the fans, but that's tomorrow. That's going to be streaming on the Top Ranking PBC YouTube pages. I won't be streaming that. However, we will be doing a video tomorrow, a stream on the undercard, because there's a lot to talk about there. So Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be the main event final press conference. It's going to be on ESPN2 and Fox Sports 1. So at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, all right, check your local TV guide. It's going to be the final press conference. Thursday, the fighters are going to have off, and it's going to be the undercard press conference at 2 p.m. Pacific with Frank Sanchez, Efe Ajagba, Robert Helenius, Adam Kownacki, Jared Anderson, Vladimir Tereshkin, J. Rock Williams, Vladimir Hernandez, Edgar Berlanga, and Marcelo Esteban Cosares. Now, I'm going to be in court, so I'm not going to be here for that. Even though I may cover it in the evening, but I'm probably going to take that day off. It's going to be a pretty exhausting day. So I'm probably going to take that day off. All right. On Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. 5 p.m. Eastern is going to be the weigh-in on ESPN2 and Fox Sports 2. Okay, FS2. You can also watch it on the digital platforms, ESPN Plus and the Fox Sports digital platforms. And yes, we will be streaming it here live and chatting and talking about it. By the way, I redid the description box. All the information you need on the card is down below in the description box. And if you want to buy...
How dare you?
Greta, I'm going to fix all this stuff by the weekend too. I got some real funny stuff for you guys. Ronald, 4 Fury and 5. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it, but let me get through the semantics first. All right, guys. Then you see, I gotta get through like the bullshit first. You know, I am a media person after all. We gotta do our shit. So let me get through this, and then we're gonna talk about the fight. You know, so we gotta get this out the way. Then I'm gonna tell you what the undercard is, and then we're gonna just talk about the fight. All right. So follow me. Oh yeah, by the way, as I was saying, down below in the description box, I put an easy link for you to buy the fight here in the States. When I get some time, I forgot, I'm going to put the BT Sport link down below because you got to buy the pay-per-view. Listen, we can joke around all you want, but we don't play that streaming shit here. All right? And I know you're going to do it anyway, but if you want to be a good person, a person of the Lord, a person who does the right thing, then you're going to buy the pay-per-view. $79.99 on PBC on Fox pay-per-view and Top Rank on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. The link is down below. And I put the ticket information and the undercard information. Also, there's a link to an app. The WBC has an app, all right? There's 3 links, one for Android, Roku, and Apple. I'm gonna be pushing it really, really hard soon. But all right, anyway, let's get back to the shit. So, the weigh-in, blah, 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 ESPN2, 5 p.m. Eastern, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, that's it. So the preliminary bouts start at, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, like the undercard, which we're going to talk about next. The pay-per-view starts at 9 p.m. 4-fight pay-per-view. Let's go look at the card real quick. Boom. What's going to open up the pay-per-view portion for $79.99 is going to be, where's he at? Jared, the new Big Baby Anderson versus the PS5 scammer. Just joking. Jared Anderson taking on the Vladimir Tereshkin, all right? That's going to open up the pay-per-view. And then what is the co-feature? Is it Kownacki Helenius 2? I believe it's going to be, next is going to be Efe Ajagba versus Frank Sanchez. 2 dudes who are like young, listed as being young, but they're older than what they really are. You know how like Africans and Cubans can be. Efe Ajagba, 15-0 with 12 KOs. We're going to be going into a deep dive into all these pay-per-view fights tomorrow during the live stream. It's going to be a really, really good fight. Listed at 27 years old, 6'6". You got Frank Sanchez of Cuba, 18-0 with 13 KOs. He's listed at 29 years old. El Cubano years. By the way, this picture was when he was allegedly 24 or some shit like that. But hey, you know what? Let me not get in trouble. I don't want to get canceled. So let's just move on. A fight that I'm really, really, really looking to, and this is just the pay-per-view portion of the undercard. And then we'll go and talk about the other stuff too. Adam Kownacki taking on Robert Helenius in the rematch. Pretty much like the biggest upset before the country shut down last year. When was that fight? March. Didn't the country shut down like that next week? Something like that? I forgot. Well, anyway, the thing about Robert Helenius is you really don't know which Robert Helenius is going to show up. Like, he's good, always been good, but he can beat a lot of people, but also he can get, beat up by a lot of people. And I didn't get a chance to watch that episode in full, but apparently there's some footage of him getting touched up by Deontay Wilder in sparring. So we gotta check that out. And that's the pay-per-view portion. Then obviously Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So on the prelims, you're going to have Julian J-Rock Williams taking on a Vladimir Hernandez. Now, J-Rock Williams' last fight was also before the country shut down in January of 2020. I was at that fight where he lost his belts in an upset to a Jason Rosario. He's had some other fights that he was supposed to have fighting, I believe one other date before this, but for whatever reason, I believe it was COVID. I don't want to get it wrong. that the fight got canceled. So now he's back, 27-2-1 with 16 KOs, taking on a Vladimir Hernandez. And who's this guy? Have I seen him fight before? Nope. A sweet, soft touch. Is this what this is? 12-4 with 6 KOs, huh? J-Rock? He fought Alfredo Angulo last year. Israel Madrimov. Did I see this fight? Did I cover this joint? Probably not, right? Who else? So this is a nice little sweet touch for J-Rock's return. And let's see who else we got. Edgar Berlanga taking on the Marcelo Esteban Caceres. Top ranked 168-pound prospect, fringe contender, 17-0 with 16 KOs. Win his first 8 rounds in his last fight against Damon Nicholson. Everyone before that was a first-round KO. This is a nice step-up fight for him. 32-1 with 1 draw. Remember, he fought Billy Joe Saunders a couple of years ago, and Billy Joe Saunders needed the KO to win because he was down on the cards. Rabisi Ramirez. Yo, this is a nice card. Y'all don't think so? I'm digging this joint. Now, unfortunately, we got to talk about Mr. Deontay Wilder now and how disappointed I've been in him this last year. You know, he's still talking that shit about like how Mark Breland had poisoned him, making all these excuses. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, listen, that's your right to believe that Mark Breland spiked his water. That's your right to believe that Tyson Fury had an egg weight shake form in his gloves. That's your right. That's your right. That is your right. It is your right to believe that he got a dent in his forehead, in his head, and the autopsy confirmed it. That's your right. That's your right. It's okay for you to believe that Jack Reese was in cahoots with Team Fury. You know, and it was like, listen, I'm going to give him 23 seconds or some shit, you know, for him. That's your right. But me, I don't believe in none of that shit. You see what I'm saying? Because I know too much about boxing and I cover too much boxing. And my logic is simple. All of this would have to have gone down under Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel's nose with no type of repercussions, no nothing. Bro, but at the same time, if that's what y'all want to believe, that's what y'all want to believe. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the fact that, listen, I like Deontay Wilder. I think there was some sucker ass shit he's been doing, especially like, yo, just take your L and move on. Like, bro, you know, and the fact that all these narratives that has been going on, they've been like poisoning his reputation. Like, he's done a lot of damage to himself. Here, let's go listen to it again, because he's still talking that shit. We're not going to rewind back all the way. He did this, like, I thought it was over because he had a virtual media Q&A last week. So he didn't bring none of this shit up. So I'm like, yes, he finally done with all them excuses and shit. And here he does this interview right here with BT Sport Boxing, and he back on the shit again to myself. He know what he did. You know, the truth is gonna come to light. All this motherfucking riddles.
Have to be perfect for 12 rounds with me. I only have to be perfect for 2 seconds. And then it's bam, baby, good night. And when you have devastating power, God given, you know, you're always gonna be the leader of the pack. You know, we've seen many guys. Some people say skills, but that's just a broken record because we've seen many guys with skills and they still lost. But you know, when you have power, you're never out of a fight ever. You know, you can always have somebody that got more skills that can outskill you and from a first to a 12-round fight. But when it boils down to it, it's all about who has the more, who, when you have power, now, you know, we'll see who, you know, it's a difference between when you having so much power and the other one doesn't. It can get you out of many different things, you know, as people have seen in my career many a times. So, you know, you have it's damage you do, damage you don't at the end of the day, and it's all about how you use certain things. And but at this point in time in this fight, people are gonna see a lot of different things. I can't please everyone, and I'm not trying to. I never have, and I never will. You know, there's too many people in the world. There's millions of people in the world, and I can't please everyone. You show them everything, they're still gonna find some type of reason to degrade you and drag your name in the dirt. You know, you can't please people, especially those that would never ever get in this sport or never get in the ring. Period. You know, it's negative 0.00001% of people in the whole entire world that'll step in this ring. You know, and how dare them have the audacity to talk about what you can and cannot do.
So once again, before we continue, in case you want to watch this on your own, here I'm putting the link in the chat right here for you. This is a part of the build-up content that BT Sport, the English broadcaster of this fight, put up on their YouTube channel, where Deontay Wilder's doing an interview after getting out the shower, by the way. I thought that was kind of weird, and you're going to see why at the end of the interview. And basically, he just starts reeling off the excuses again, you know, about how, put it this way, he's alleging, right, saying, I'm not a doctor. The man said he was sick, saying that like something wasn't right, that he, you know, was like a zombie, pretty much like insinuating, I guess, that like, you know, Mark Breland spiked his water. You know how crazy that shit sounds? Like, give me the one I missed. Like, you know how crazy that sounds? So listen to him, and it's like weird still hearing this from him, because it's like, bro, like, and people like, nah, man, he ain't sued or he ain't want no investigation because he a real nigga. He a real nigga. He ain't gonna do that. He gonna make Fury pay in blood and crucifix in the ring. Like, bro, and I'm hearing this stuff and I'm like, okay, it's like, that's your right to believe it. But don't be mad at me because I'm a black man and I'm not going with like the group think. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I hate getting dragged into that race shit, bro. And it's coming. I'm telling you, by the end of the week, people are gonna be cussing me out in the comments, talking about, oh, look at this coon, and I'm used to it. And especially on Saturday night after the fight, whatever the narrative is gonna be, motherfuckers is gonna be cussing me out. Like, I just be wanting to cover the fights, man. Anyway, let me shut up, let this play. Like, please, just leave me out of the race war. I'll be tired. I already got a rough week ahead. Help me out, bro. Help me out.
Or what you should or shouldn't do when they'll never step in this position. You know, even with all my failures, a lot of them would never be able to accomplish it. So,
yeah, I mean, that's a very valid point. The armchair critics or the keyboard warriors, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I just wanted, you mentioned that second fight, and we're going to see changes. I know I'm not going to go into all the, you know, obviously I know you didn't want it to end when it ended, but have you, first of all, when was the first time you were able to look back at that fight, and have you learned stuff from that? Are you going to do stuff differently?
I haven't really. I've seen different clips and stuff like that, and it's kind of hard to look at to see the circumstances that I was under. You know, when you know the truth, you know the truth. That's why I've been so calm and collective throughout this whole process, because, you know, they say the truth shall set you free, and it's a true statement. You know, we know the facts, we know the truth, and but you know, when I do look at it, if I see clips or whatever, like I always tell my team, I could have been, you know, when the mask came off me, I could have called it. When I didn't feel right when Chris took the mask off me. When you see my eyes looking crazy and looking like a zombie, you know, people have watched me over 5 years. They know how I act. They know how I look. And that tells it all right there. You know, people know what their eyes have seen, no matter what they want to, you know, put in their heads, but they know what the eyes have seen. And, you know, it's fine with me. You know, I can live with the truth. You know, I'm one of the realest in the business, and I can live with the truth, and I can accept the truth and move. And that's why I have moved forward. Allow me to make myself even better. You know, I'm actually glad that it happened to me the way it happened to me. You know, I showed that I was a true warrior. Even the circumstances that I was under, I still went along with. And I know who I am, but I wanted to see what type of man, what type of warrior would I be. He showed me his best, and he still can. Even on my worst night, on his best night, he still couldn't get me out of there. You know, so, people would try to label it as a knockout, but that's not a knockout. No, that's a stoppage because of a weak individual in my team that did something he was supposed to do, and that's throw in the towel. I ended the fight on my feet. It's a difference between a knockout and someone ending it on their feet, you know. And I'm just looking forward to this time around, and I can't wait again.
Yeah, I mean, you've just obviously explained how you felt, but you know, you could imagine people over here are saying, well, what's the point of watching that fight? You know, Tyson beat him the last time fair and square.
You see, that's hard for me to hear, you know, because when he said, it's like, okay, all right, if you had a stomach bug or some type of bug leading into the fight, all right, cool. I'm going to be like, yo, you know, maybe something happened, you know, this is before COVID, maybe before the cough do cool or some shit. You know, maybe got the flu before the flu disappeared. Just throwing that out there. You know, I'm just wondering, but pretty much he's been a legend that like he was poisoned by his own teammate, the African American, when the white man, Mark Breland, was in charge of everything. It don't make, I'm sorry, listen, but you know, hey, if y'all want to believe it, I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm not going to be like, nah, you stupid, and calling you all these names. I'm like, you know what? This is motherfucking America. You can believe what you want, you know? And for it to happen all in Al Heyman's house under his nose, But let's talk about the fight. Listen, I got Tyson Fury. It's hard for me these days to pick a fighter off of just one thing they can do good. You know, and he's shown, yeah, he's shown that he can put Tyson Fury down. And Tyson Fury may not get up again. But bro, Tyson Fury just ran through him in the second fight. And then the first fight, yeah, my bad, JD's. The white man trainer. No disrespect. I'm not saying this disrespectfully. I'm just calling the shit like it is. Like Deontay Wilder can act like he won when he do these interviews, but he been low-key throwing like some flame on this race shit. We not gonna play no games. I've heard the interviews with 78 and all. I heard all the shit, bro. So you can play all these games like with like the media, you know, insinuating shit, but behind the scenes, he been really trying to make it a black-white thing. He been since the first fight. So I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm gonna call that shit like it is. But Tyson Fury's just a better overall fighter. You know, and it's hard for me to believe that, you know, I like Malik Scott. I predicted Malik Scott to defeat Deontay Wilder until I found out they was in fucking cahoots. And I still think to this day, and I'm not afraid to say it, that Malik Scott flopped. Y'all seen that shit? Did you notice how hard it is to come across that footage or why they don't be showing that shit? Because they know it was a flop. You would think that they would be playing this footage all over. Man, no, he flopped. You know, Philly, stand up. I'm just saying. But, you know, he broke my heart. Like, for real, Malik Scott broke my heart. I was talking all this shit like this Wilder dude, once he meet a real boxer, he gonna be finished. I was talking that shit. I think the videos are on this channel. I was here when I don't know if I was on this channel or the other channel when I was doing the videos. But I was like, Malik Scott going to show Deontay Wilder levels. Like, Malik Scott is good. He was good, but he never seemed to take boxing seriously.
How dare you?
You see what I'm saying? How dare you? Drew, let me see what you say there. Let me see there. Let me read that super chat. If Fury wins, they will say he targeted the dent in Wilder's head from the second fight, caused by the egg weight shape. I'm going to put egg weight shape form. Boxing Twitter and the YouTube boxing community will be toxic. Oh, it's going to be really toxic this weekend. That's what I'm saying. I'm pleading with you now. Like, listen, I'm pleading with you now. Like, just leave me alone. I just want to cover the fights. I already know I'm going to get cussed out, and I'll probably have to cuss some of you out. But just give me a break, man. Yo, Boxing Twitter and if Fury lose, whew, I don't know what's worse. If Wilder loses or if Fury loses. I don't know what's worse, but shit's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be a madhouse, and I'm all for it. I'm not going to lie to you. I like the controversy. I like to be sitting here scrolling like, ooh, like copy and pasting and saving other people memes and sharing them other places. Like, yo, I can't wait to get my scroll on. I cannot wait. But anyway, you know, like I said, it's hard. Let's go look at the resume real quick of both of these fighters. You know, I like Deontay Wilder. I do. But, bro, I can't confidently pick him right now. And then, you know, I have to think, like, with all these excuses and shit, that's some mental shit to me. Like, bro, why are you making up all these excuses? Like, ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. You supposed to be from the streets? Well, you know, he's really not, but we're not gonna talk about that. 42-1 and 1 with 41 KOs. Now, the Luis Ortiz, both of those performances were impressive. But one thing Luis Ortiz tried to do, like Tyson Fury tried to do in the first fight, don't try to outbox him. Don't get him time to set up. Like, take that shit right to Deontay Wilder. You know, all the guys that got clipped and iced, they all tried to box him and tried to set some shit up. No, put him on the back foot. You've seen even glimpses with Bermain Stavern. Like, he can be a little, you know, off. Even when Luis Ortiz in the first fight and second fight was kind of taking it to him. You know, Deontay Wilder ain't ready for that. But everything besides that was like pretty much to me smoke and mirrors, like guys that was set up for him to beat up. You know, Eric Molina, Johan Duhaupas, Artur Szpilka, Chris Arreola. That's still a quality win. I'm a big Chris Arreola guy. Gerald Washington, Bermain Stavern. You know, the Luis Ortiz, you know, he almost got, you know, out of there then too. It's hard for me to pick him. I'm sorry. Because only way he's going to win, like, is he going to outbox Fury? Hell no. You saying that, you drunk. You know, I just don't think he can do it. You know, that's my right. That's my opinion. My issue and concern with Tyson Fury is all the bullshit that's been going around and, you know, the convenient excuse of COVID, which I believe I believe I read a story. Drew, I hope Artman is okay if Wilder gets starched. Yeah, man, that Artman guy. I be watching. Them motherfuckers is hilarious, yo. I just be watching, just scrolling. So, Tyson Fury, 30-0-1 with 21 KOs. Let me tell you something right here. Tyson Fury's hands ain't clean. The nose clams, the cocaine, the drunken binges, the boar meat. But I don't believe the glove shit, not one bit. I believe some shit went down between when he was supposed to fight Fury again that, you know, like he was on the nose clam and probably taking shit he shouldn't have. But I believe, you know, he cool now. Alawalin, I like that win. That was a nice quality fight. Tom Schwartz, he's allegedly a no-good woman beater, punched a woman in her face. I believe it's like his fiance or ex-fiance or something, punched her in the face allegedly and broke her face with some Kovalev shit. Vladimir Klitschko, of course, he completely schooled Vladimir Klitschko. Like, he just was making that shit look easy, but it was a very nasty fight. Didn't really engage. But if he wants to, with his boxing style, yo, he can outbox Deontay Wilder, yo, 10 out of 10 times, yo. 10 out of 10 times. Deontay Wilder only got one punch. Like, that's all he has, is that it's hard to rely on that. And especially when we seen that for people who say that that Wilder won the first fight, I don't think he won. Even with those two knockdowns, that don't, like, you know, I've heard the casual takes of, you know, well, he was knocked down twice. How did he win the fight? Like, bro, it's a scoring system. But some people be saying that shit. So I just don't see it, guys. I want to believe. But I just can't. I just can't. So I'm going with Tyson Fury by decision. I'm not sure. I don't know. See, I want to pick knockout. He's saying he's going to go for the knockout. And I, you know, why not believe him? Deontay Wilder hasn't shown me that he can fight a fighter of the caliber of Tyson Fury on the back foot. You know, so I can't rely. Listen, I can't rely on one punch. Now, if Fury coming out there looking all slow, you know, but Fury never looks slow. I've seen the man at 270 plus pounds, you know, outbox Derek Chisora left-handed. Bro, y'all seen that fight? He outboxed Derek Chisora and beat him up bad, like left-handed, bro. And what was he weighing during that fight? How dare you? That's a fight you need to go watch. When was that fight? He was 264. After being 264 against Joey Abel. Like, bro. And when it comes to Usyk, I consider that a 50-50 fight. But I would lean more towards Tyson Fury because that dude is good, man. Dude is good. Like, you can't deny that for his size to move the way he moves. Like, you can't deny that. I'm standing by my pick. I don't never change my picks. Okay, sometimes I may flip-flop, you know, but hey, it depends on how I'm feeling. But I'm not flip-flopping on this. No, I'm going with Tyson Fury. Anyway, I'm getting up out of here, guys. I'm T-Street Controversy with 5u360.com. Me and Big J got to do another Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos video. Ew. Ugh, that's just a mess right there. So that video is going to be coming up after this. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. T-Street